Sorry about that, my fellow Trashionaires. Welcome back to another episode of good content. I was having a little bit of a Coca-Cola break before this, but today, on this special episode of good content, we're going to be covering a figure I've been long needing in my collection. I even teased him, I think. A new Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Iron Spider-Man. I keep forgetting. I'm just going to call him Spider-Man for the rest of this video. Anyway, so yeah. Now, why is this one special to me? Well, it's a long story I think I've covered before. Well, you see, many ages ago, in a time long forgotten, in a place that no longer houses people, I used to have the original Marvel Legends Spider-Man, Iron Spider-Man. I think they made it right after they acquired Toy Biz. And I loved it. I loved that figure. It was cool. I really did like it. Even though most people's standards recently, it'd be too spindly and kind of fragile, but it held up and I still like it. Even though a few years ago, while I was moving house, a little bit before then, I lost him. I think it was in an attic, but I looked because we knew the people who still lived there. But it wasn't there anymore. I miss him dearly, but thankfully, they recently made another. So that's why I was so happy when this guy got announced. But I tried finding him in person, and sadly, my target hasn't been the best when it comes to being on top of the toy game. So I just kind of gave up after like a month of going to Target back and forth and back and forth. Excuse me. So I just gave up, got him on Amazon, got him a week later, and I like it. I like this figure. There are a few choices I don't like, but we'll get to them. But first, let's just get a good look at the figure. There's a lot of people who've looked at this, of course, but we all have a general consensus on what we think of this guy. So we'll get to that later. First of all, looks pretty good on camera. Honestly, you can tell the difference in plastic in the torso to the everything else, because the torso is the only one that's like hard plastic. Everything else is rubber. I'm trying to show you. See? Wibble. No wibble wobble here. Solid. So yeah, there we go. There's the back. Overall, pretty solid, of course. Just solid. Solid. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but anyway, so yeah, that's it for like the looks. Let's talk about the accessories. Technically, there's 5, but 5 doubloons. But 3 of them were the Waldos. By the way, silly name, but I like them. I don't think they like fit for like these, but like whatever. So these came out of the package. You can they're just a peg, so you can just peg them. It doesn't matter where you put them. It just put them in. Boom, solid. Bop, 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 bop. Anyway, so yeah, the other 2 accessories, I think, I'm pretty sure it's just 2 more accessories. I got them over here in my hand pile. This is where I've been putting my hands. I've gotten from action figures recently, because it's usually figures I have on my bed, because I don't like getting up to grab action figures, but I gotta unlearn that. I gotta start putting them back. But it's so much easier. But anyway, so I usually keep the extra hands from figures on my bed, on my desk. So let's move Broly here, by the way. Here's, I got this guy recently in store, by the way. I had him saved in my cart, my Amazon cart for a little bit. Because I was like, oh, eventually. Then one day I came into Target and it was this guy, Majin Buu, the Kid Buu, and Cooler, his final form. So you'll see those guys later. But another Broly to my collection. Let's get him out of the way for now. I dropped it. Is that it? No, that's not. There we go. The two extra accessories are flipping hands. Yeah. They're just good old flipping hands, you know, flip, 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 flip. Yeah, they just do normal hand things. Anyway, so yeah. People were kind of upset with the accessories, like, why doesn't he have a wall crawling hand or whatever? Do we really need a wall crawling hand for this guy? Because one, the extra plastic on the Waldos already equates to like 20 hands basically. And two, the Waldos are what he usually uses to climb, or at least when they're out. So be better. Anyway, so let's get a look at the actual Waldos themselves. Let's go to articulation now. You got the peg. They're all the same. Peg, hinge, swivel, because it's a hinge with a swivel on it. Hinge, swivel. Alright, here's the first thing that everyone agrees on. Basically everyone agrees on. These probably should have had more articulation. I can kind of understand the idea of this, having this part and this part not be articulated, for like crouching being hold up poses, you know, like in the comics. But specifically designing the figure for those kind of poses limits everything else. There's so much more this figure could have done, but anyway, so yeah. More articulation would have been nice in the Waldos. I'm pretty sure the old one even had that, so that's a bit of a downgrade. Anyway, so yeah, basically everything else is exactly the same as a normal Spider-Man. Ball joint, hinge. You don't see the hinge, this sort of articulation design anymore. It's usually it's like a dumbbell joint, which limits the figure, but apparently people hate the look of the hinge right there, which, alright, a little tangent, alright? I'm gonna go on a tangent right now. I hate people who insist on having a figure being as seamless as possible while getting the max amount of articulation. Like, that's not a good way of thinking, because articulation is like the fun part of figures. Like, come on. Like, one, we're nowhere near being close to having a fully articulated figure. Like, they can do all the stuff we can do and more maybe, but having seamless. There's no way we can make a seamless figure with fully articulated posing. That's impossible right now. Alright, we've tried. We've tried many of times. Hot Toys is one of them. But those are like glorified posable statues. They're mainly there for you to put them in like a standing pose. And if you want to play with them, they have the posing for it, but that's what they're for. But the best part of action figures is that they can pose. That's the best part. So being upset that you can see the joints is stupid. I don't care if I get put on like stupid action figure fan, like Reddit or whatever. I don't know that exists. Okay. But that's like the best part. I don't care if I can see the joints. Matter of fact, I prefer if I see the joints, so I know they're sturdy and stable. Being mad that you can see the joints is like being mad you can tell a burger is meat. That's like the whole point, is that it's meat. The whole point is that it's articulated. If you don't want to see the articulation on a figure, get a statue. But no, you're gonna get mad that you can't pose the thing. Sorry, no, I'm not sorry. I'm 100% still, I back that idea. Don't be upset when you see articulation. That's the point. It's supposed to be articulated. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to the rest of the articulation unless I get canceled. Anyway, so you got a butterfly joint. That's like the one. Okay, so there's another thing. Recently, I've noticed that a lot of Marvel Legends butterfly joints don't move that far back. Like, it's substantial, but it's more limited than we're used to. But then again, I have mentioned the fact that recently my Pizza Spider-Man action figure, his arm fell off because I think they updated the design. They used to have the ball joint, the actual ball joint, you know, this separate piece, that's the ball joint. They used to have it pegged into the lower abdomen. And I think the reason they switched it is because of the gravity that was being put on this joint that was causing it to like weaken the peg there. And that's what happened to my Pizza Spider-Man. The peg got loose and it fell off. So I think that's a good choice of putting the peg up here now. There's enough room from the beginning, but I don't know why they didn't choose to put it the other way. They chose to put it the other way before, but that doesn't explain why the butterfly joint is as limited as it is. I think it's because they made the cut of the actual joint smaller. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. They're not giving it the room to actually move. So anyway, so you of course you got the hinge, goes out basically all the way. And then you got swivel, double hinge. These were tight out of the box. Now they're all the way. Just gonna fist bump your own shoulder. Then you got an ab crunch. It's a soft ratchet. 1, 2, 3. But the back, it kind of congeals into like one. So here's the arch. And here's the crunch. Typical movement. And you got a waist swivel. And you got typical legs. Pretty good kick. I think yeah. Here's about the highest it can get naturally before it goes past it goes along the cut. Then you got split. Pretty good. That's a pretty good split. Because that's like the one joke with like Marvel Legends Spider-Man. The splits aren't good. This is pretty good. This is like substantial. Then you got a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. By the way, the plastic they use for this is like buttery smooth. Maybe it's because it's like soft. It's like smooth. It's smooth. And so that makes the joints buttery smooth. Pretty good. Then you got a calf joint that goes into the cuff, the gold cuff. And you got swivel at the leg, the thing here, and then a hinge. And then we already covered everything. So yeah, that's about it for the articulation. Pretty good. Like, the only thing I can truly criticize it for, oh, also, hinge swivel here at the wrist, there's nothing at the cuff. The cuff is glued on. So yeah, the only thing I can like criticize it for, but it's like a general criticize it. Criticism for this is the butterfly joint. Like, I kind of get it, but I don't. It just limits the articulation you can do with like, whoa, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it for the articulation. So yeah, let's get into the comparison territory. We're not gonna do a lot, but let's do one that actually is relevant. You just saw him there, but Iron Man. This is the most recent Iron Man suit that came out. They've revealed 2. They haven't come out yet, but this one's the most recent one. Here we go. Size comparison. He is bigger, but this is supposed to be like a really chunky armor. Obviously, you can tell when you think of Iron Man. When you think of Iron Man, you typically don't think of muscle machine, literally. But this is my Iron Man's design. I grew up with the MCU. I grew up with a lot of things. This is it. This is why I got it. It's a good to basic, pretty amazing, awesome, lovely design. And it's a really good action figure. So yeah, I like it. Now I just need a comic Iron Man. I mean, a comic Captain America, and I'm good. Anyway, so yeah. Pretty good scale. Okay, we'll get the Waldos in here as well. Taller. So yeah, these are really long. So yeah, look forward to this guy soon. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. Pretty good. I almost forgot to mention the torso, because look at his waist. If you notice, there's a bit of a darkness at the waist, and that's because I think it's not actually a crimson red plastic. Pretty sure that would make it a little bit more brittle, so I'm pretty sure they made it in black plastic, and they painted it with this. So yeah, it's kind of, like, I don't mind it, but when you can look at like the seams or the edges, you can tell it's painted. So it's not like a criticism, more as like it's there. I can't like demote it for it, but you know. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. I like this figure. I think it's cool. Like, it has its like downsides, but I think it's like it's substantial. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys have like ideas what to do next, comment down below. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. That's about it. I have nothing else to say, figure included. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.